All right, third time's the charm. Today, Merry Christmas. It's December 25th. I left you guys a little holiday greeting from myself on the YouTubes. And today what I've decided is I've done a lot of cleaning today, and I feel like I've earned myself a cheesesteak sandwich, which I definitely want to have. Now, I normally use Steak-Umms. One day when Walmart was out of my little Steak-Umms sandwiches, they recommended these. There are 4 of these in the box, and they're called Great Value Seasoned Sirloin Cheesesteaks. And apparently they're like certainly much thicker. They're supposed to look like an actual steak. I'm sure they're just pressed meat like everyone else. And so we're going to use that because we're experimenting and doing new things. Also, I had some extra mushrooms that I gotten from my veg place a couple days ago, and one of those were open and they were getting a little soft, and so I've got some onions chopped up here, I've got some mushrooms chopped up here, and then I'm going to take this great half of a green pepper that we used when making the étouffée, the catfish étouffée, which came out wonderful, just so you know. Yeah. Plate looked like shit, but the steak tasted great. But the dish tasted great. So I'm going to just get this all chopped up, and then we're going to go start frying it in butter, and then we'll move along. I'll have you guys join me then. See you in just a second. Okay, so I'm back. I have here for 2, or whatever that is, chopped up some mushrooms, as I said I would, some onions, as I said I would, and some green peppers. And I chopped them fine, because that's the way to use them. I want to give this a really fair shot. However, I will tell you that one of the things that really bugs me about, this particular deal is that, yes, the Walmart item is $4 less, but they only give you 4 pieces of steak. And I've read that each of those steaks are supposed to be 1 serving. Now, when I get my Steak-Umms, my lovely Steak-Umms, they have 18 pieces. The way that I use those, because I make them as like a daily lunch. I'm not making spectacular like cheesesteak heroes for a bunch of people where I would use more than 2 apiece. The way that I eat them is I get 2 pieces of white bread, or if I have a bun, toast that up, and then I put 2 Steak-Umms in there. So I'm looking I'm looking at 9 sandwiches. Here I'm only looking at 4. So, we'll just try and give it a little understanding of that, just because we want to keep apples to apples in this. So I'm putting the vegetables, the mushrooms, the onions, and the green peppers into the pan with some butter. And what else am I looking for to do this? I guess just a touch of salt and pepper, maybe? Where's my salt? Here we go. So I'm going to fry those up until they're very translucent and very easy. Like, I don't want to have problems chewing this just because I didn't cut it right. So we're going to make sure that it gets really well done and that we're giving this the best opportunity that we can. Alrighty, and I'll be back once, well, you can watch me for a little while. I'll have you guys back as soon as I'm ready to move to the next step. One thing I did want to say, though, is that for this particular sandwich, I'm using some of the organic bread that I got the day before yesterday. It's called Dave's Killer Bread, 10 grams whole grains, white bread done right, USDA organic, 5 super grains, quinoa, spelt, rye, millet, barley, no beach flour, soft and smooth artisan-style loaf. And there you go. And it certainly looks good. I toasted up 2 pieces, so hopefully that'll add a really good component to it. I've got some really good bread, so I'm happy to try it all out. All right, getting this going. Okay, so we've got this onion, pepper, and mushroom mix frying up pretty good. And I use mostly butter, actually margarine, sorry, and a little bit of olive oil. And I'm going to make them as translucent as possible. I just explained why, but it looks like it's coming along very, very nicely. I'm so glad too, because as I mentioned, 1 box of those mushrooms was open when I got it, and I could see when I looked at them today that they were headed, south, and they had already developed a little bit of slime on them. So I wanted to use as many of them as I can, at least of the open one, and hit them before the slime became an issue, As it was, I was able to wash them off dry them, and they were perfectly fine. I still have like most of the box there that I guess are going to go bad, but I've been thinking of things I can use it with all day, and also considering that I don't want to spend the whole day cooking, which is what I did the other day. I made the catfish etouffee in the evening, and I did something else in the morning, but it was a lot of work and a lot of mess. So I don't know if I'm going to have anything else to use mushrooms on today. So it'll be what it'll be, but at least they got used. All right, I'm going to put you guys on pause again. Okay, I have the first piece of cheesesteak in, and I'm going to start working it, not just with this yellow thing here, with a red stir, but I'm going to start using the metal spatula so that when it's browned on both sides, I'll be able to know I either took a good shot at chopping it up or I did chop it up. I'm going to use the same 2 pieces of American cheese that I used on all of these. For a while I was doing them just on the cheap to see if they would work. 1 piece of cheesesteak and like a small amount of onions and a slice of American cheese, just one, and they were good. They were like a good snack, but they weren't really, you know, like a meal. But it was a good experiment. It was. Okay, I can already see that if I want to have another sandwich, I'm going to have to add more onion and mushroom and pepper. And that's fine. That's fine. Okay, now I'm going to start seeing about breaking this up. And yep, it looks like it's breaking up much as it should. The center's still frozen, so I assume we need to give them a little bit more of a cook. But it does look like it's meant to break up. It just looks like these are still frozen. So we'll wait for them to heat up. And I'm going to put them on a lower flame because I don't want to a lower temperature because I don't want to burn up all the veg here, all the mushrooms and stuff, god damn it, onions and whatnot. So I'm just going to put the whole thing on a lower heat, and I may even take it off the heat for a few seconds and move my cutting board. Right there. And that way I can move them off the heat if I need to. God damn, everything I do these days, I have to clean the stove afterwards. Every single thing. I don't know if that's supposed to be good or bad or whatever. So I'm breaking this up now, and it is breaking up kind of well. But I also see that there's some pink, but it does look like it's going to get to the point where it's ready to go very quickly. So like I said, I already toasted up the bread, so that's fine. I've got the cheese right here. That's fine. But I do want to break it up as much as it can be. Because again, the Steak-Umms are made to break up into like minuscule, like rolling paper texture, like delicate. Which is weird because the first thing I do is kind of break it up right after I put it in, just to get it the cook that it needs. And this is a little thicker, but it seems like it's a good thing. And I actually do like my steaks on the rare side, but this isn't really a steak. It's a bunch, and the same thing with Steak-Umms. They are potted, you know, all beef, and they are shaved, but they're all beef made from a lot of different cows, and probably through a bunch of separation policies that stamp them, you know, into these patties or into these steaks. But under no circumstances do I have any doubt that this is made of, you know, hundreds of different beef sources all put together So which is why you can't really have these rare. I mean, and the thing is, honestly, I had an expensive cheeseburger the other day. I think it was 18 bucks. And she asked me how I wanted it, and you know, I guess I'm not as consistent in my beliefs, because I told her to make it as rare. You know, usually diners and places like that, they won't make you a rare burger. But I was in the mood for one, so I said rare, if he'll do it, medium rare. And that meat was also, I'm absolutely sure, you know, from 100 million different cows. Okay, this stuff is quite ready to go. I'm going to put the bread in, let it suck up some juices, and then I'm, you know what, just one piece of bread right now. I've got to move all this stuff on there, which I'm going to do. There we go. There we go. There we go. You know, based on the mass of steak that I have here, it actually does look like these sandwiches with this bread is actually bigger. There's more steak. It might be more than I normally get on a two-piece cheesesteak sandwiches, but it doesn't look like much. I mean, the ultimate thing was if I could use one steak for two sandwiches, that'd change the value of it for me. And or if it tastes so amazingly good that I'm going to be blown off my rocker. That would also be amazing. And I do spend extra money for good things. I'm not so poor and cheap that I, have to buy the cheapest thing of everything I see. So here we go. We're going to put on these mushrooms, these American cheese. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas. I hope the day's been everything you wanted it to be. I hope if there's an old movie that your family or your wife and you or your husband and you or your domestic partner and you like to watch on Christmas, that you got to watch it. And I just hope you've been having as close to a perfect day. And it kind of reminds me, the first Christmas I spent with Jeanette, who is my late wife. So she had 3 kids. They were all triplets. She still has them. One's passed away with her, unfortunately. But Jeanette had been really dirt poor since she'd had the kids. And, she was living on one person's salary. 2 of the kids were severely autistic, which meant that she had to, one was violent as well as autistic. So that meant that she really needed to spend all her time, keeping track of the kids, because they were young and they also not old enough to be safe, but also their autism made them do sometimes stupid things. So she'd never really gotten to give them the perfect Christmas that she'd always wanted to. So at the time I had a very, very good paying job in New York City. I was telecommuting and so I had about $3,000 in the bank, which for us at that time, we're talking many years ago, I mean, I was making a lot of money. It's just when I had to stop telecommuting to New York, that my industry wasn't in Guelph where we lived. But yeah, so we took all of that $3,000. She took it from the bank and she bought everything she'd ever wanted to buy for the kids. Put every single thing in the house that they could, have. Tried to make the perfect Christmas for everyone, and she spent that $3,000. She spent like 2 more in my following paychecks, but I wanted to give her this, And so the thing is, the big day came. The kids were all racked with anxiety. My daughter Rachel, who's the one that passed away and was one of the autistic ones, she was so nervous about getting the present that she wanted, because she was very, very focused on, getting, she'd get her mind on these single things, and nothing else would do. So, and at the time, she was looking at dolls, Barbie doll-like dolls, from, not only the United States, but ones that were meant to be only available in other countries. And she would be heart set on it. The thing is that it was so sad. She really didn't get to enjoy the dolls. She had some kind of list in her mind, and she got so anxious about whether she was getting the one that she asked for. We started telling her what we, when we got it, you know, if I got that present for her and it arrived 2 weeks ago, you know, eventually her anxiety would be so bad that it would just be better for me to take it off her, and I sit her down and I say, okay, Rachel, you know, I got Glamour, Teresa, whatever it is that she wants. You'll get it on Christmas Day. And then the thing is, she'd get it on Christmas Day with a whole bunch of other presents too, of course. But she didn't really play with the doll at all. She, you know, she had this inventory of her head in her autistic mind about what things she needed. And so I gave her the doll. She checked it off on this list in her mind, and then she turned to me, swear to God, at exactly, like, just right afterwards, and she said, next one I want is da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's only in Nigeria. So, I mean, it was heartbreaking, because those, first of all, those Barbie dolls are fucking expensive. Second of all, these were expensive ones because they were rare ones, and they were like sidelines. They weren't Barbies themselves, they were like Barbie's friends or something. So I kept getting them for her and doing these things, and I don't think she ever got any real joy out of the dolls themselves, which is such a shame. But at least her mind was calm. Do you know what I mean? At least for a little while, her anxiety over getting it was, you know, better. Okay, so this looks like I've got one good one in here. And the cheese looks sufficiently melted. I'm just going to give it another minute. I've turned the heat off. Yeah, I stuffed a lot of extra meat in here, and there's still some meat here on the side. I could have probably made another half a sandwich with this, but it's fine. I'm going to give it a fair taste, and then I'll come back and let you guys know how it went, all right? All right, see you soon. Okay, I have sampled the goods, and I will tell you that it was a fine, good cheesesteak sandwich. Absolutely. It was overloaded. I had more meat in the pan than I had bread. There wasn't enough meat in the pan to do a second sandwich, which is disappointing, but okay. The bread was very good, by the way. So I have to say, when I put it next to the Steak-Umms, there's certainly more meat in one of those things, but the Steak-Umms are going to ultimately have more sandwiches available to them. You get 4 pieces of the steaks there, and even if you were to make just half of each one, you're still only looking at like 8 sandwiches or whatever. And it tasted good, and it tasted actually extra good because I added on the mushrooms and the peppers, something I don't usually have to make for my cheesesteaks. So it was delicious, but again, I would put my money, even though it's an extra $4, we're looking at 9 sandwiches the way I make them, and they're delicious and I love them. I would definitely use these again, certainly if that's all I had available to me, for sure. But still, I think I'm going to stick with the Steak-Umms. It's $10, it's 18 pieces of meat. If you do 2 at a time like I do, that's 9 sandwiches, and it seems good. So I think that's what my decision is going to be, but certainly the cheesesteaks were... The great value ones, they weren't exactly of the exact quality of the Steak-Umms, and I think that's because they were just not as thin as the Steak-Umms, and I think the thinness adds something to it. They were delicious though, but I still do prefer the Steak-Umms. So there you go, a review. And I hope you guys again are still having a wonderful, wonderful Christmas. It's only 3:30. You still have so much of Christmas Day to go. Go do something wonderful. Turn off the computer. Stop watching YouTube. Go be with your family. Go outside. Have a snowball fight. Actually, probably worried that ice is going to come and, yeah, drag you away. There's a lot of negative stuff going on in the country right now. So if we can just all have a good day today, all of us, that'd be great. But unfortunately, there are people, there are Palestinians, there are non-citizens who are being treated like they are certainly not Americans and almost like they're not people. And those things need to be fixed. But right now, today, at this moment, there's nothing we can do. Try and enjoy your time with your family. Enjoy being at home. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys with the next meal. Bye.